Hi, my name is Adina. Welcome to the CMCT Engagement module. In this short video, I would like to explain the basics of Islam. What we would also like to tell you is what you can or cannot conclude when you meet a Muslim. You will in your career meet people, report about, and invariably form opinions about Muslims. If and when you travel, there is a 25% chance that among those you meet are Muslims. That is because there are 1.6 billion Muslims in the world. However, if you are in New Zealand, this probability drops to 10%. Many different ethnicities make the Muslim population. Each of these ethnicities will have its own culture, dress code, food, and way of doing things. To assume that all Muslims are alike is like assuming that all white or Pakeha males in New Zealand are alike or similar. For example, there are approximately 40 ethnic groups within Canterbury that make up the 3,075 identified Muslims. Muslims in Canterbury are either born here or migrants from different parts of the world. This is an example of the diversity of people who have identified as Muslims. If this diversity is seen in just 3,000 people, imagine the diversity that is expected in 1.6 billion Muslims all around the world. Now, let me introduce you to two examples. Meet Sarah. Sarah is from Turkey. She is 16 years old and has a love-hate relationship with school. She loves her friends and her shopping sprees, and at this stage, Sarah is like any other girl, trying to fit in. As a Muslim, she also follows the 5 pillars of Islam and the 6 core beliefs. Now meet Hassan. He is 25 years old and has moved to New Zealand from South Africa with his family. He has a steady job with friends that like him. Hassan also thinks it is finally time to look for the one. And as a Muslim, he follows the 5 pillars of Islam and the 6 core beliefs. As you can see, the similarity between these two individuals are the 5 pillars of Islam and the 6 core beliefs. This is the only similarity that one can assume if one meets with any Muslim from the 1.6 billion in the world. So this leaves me to explain the 5 pillars of Islam and the 6 core beliefs. If you are to remember only one thing from this session, I hope you remember what these 5 pillars and 6 beliefs are. The 6 core beliefs include believing that there is one God. The most important teaching in Islam is that only God is to be served and worshipped. So the opposite is worshipping other beings. It is considered to be one of the biggest sins in Islam. To believe that there are angels and they surround us. We believe that some of these angels record our actions, both good and bad deeds. We believe that God communicates His guidance through human prophets or messengers sent to different nations throughout history. These prophets start with Adam, include Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, with Muhammad as the last messenger. We also believe that throughout time, God had revealed books like the Psalms, the Torah, and the Gospel through the prophets. However, the original teaching of these books got distorted or lost. Muslims believe that the Quran is God's final revelation and has been and will always be fully preserved. Muslims believe that life in this world will come to an end on an appointed day. At that time, every person will be raised from the dead and judged individually according to his faith and his actions. Now, this is the most difficult concept to understand, as it may seem to contradict the idea of free will. We believe that nothing happens except by the will of God. The 5 pillars of Islam include professing that there is only one God and Muhammad is his messenger. Once you profess this, you become a Muslim. This is the minimum requirement for someone to become a Muslim or believer. Praying 5 times a day. We pray facing the Kaaba or Mecca, but we do not pray to this. It is just a direction which unifies all Muslims. The 5 times a day is at dawn, midday, when the sun is halfway down in the afternoon, at dusk, and the last is at twilight. Fasting during the month of Ramadan each day from sunrise to sunset. This means no food, drink, sexual intercourse, and to stay away from all wrongdoings, for example lying, backbiting, stealing, etc. Give alms to the poor, the travelers, those in financial difficulties, and those who do religious work. And the last is pilgrimage, also known as Hajj, to Mecca. This is a requirement for a Muslim to do it once in their lifetime if they are able to afford it, travel, and is physically able to. Part of what we want to discuss today, which we see is relevant to you,
is how portrayal of Muslim and Islam in the media affects not just Muslims, but society as a whole.
Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.